Okay, so welcome back everybody. This is Triumph of Mankind in the Premier League Season 3. This is Moscow 5 versus Fnatic Raidcall in a best of 3 series. This is game number 1, so we're going to see how these two teams throw it down. But Darkseer and the Naga Siren band first up. Now, both teams relatively, Fnatic's been around a bit longer. They haven't had the best results. We'll see how they go though. Wisp though, the third or second ban here by Fnatic. Also M5, the Moscow 5, they are a relatively new lineup. Of course, Moscow 5 ditching their previous lineup shortly after the International 2 due to slightly not the best of sportsmanship behaviour, that sort of stuff. So we'll see how this new Moscow 5 team performs. Fourth ban now, Moscow 5 thinking about what they're going to go for next. I honestly think Lycan is going to slip through here. He hasn't been getting banned quite as frequently. I do like the fact that Fnatic have banned out Wisp. Now, Wisp is something that a team like Moscow 5, they really enjoy the aggressive lineups, and they really, and as well in the past, have played some crazy stuff at the Wisp. Wisp Tiny, Wisp Chaos Knight combo, some really strong stuff. Fnatic, though, they pick up the Batrider, and we've seen exactly how nasty this new and improved, buffed up Batrider can be. He's honestly utterly ridiculous in the lane. And there we go, Moscow 5, they respond though, they get their hands on Rubik as well as Chen, and plenty of great spells. I mean, Batrider has a smorgasbord of great spells there for Rubik to steal, though that said, Sticky Napalm doesn't go as nicely with him. But it is all around just a really annoying AoE slow, but he doesn't get that good damage amp out of it. But if he can get his hands on stuff like Lasso, or even Firefly, he can cause some serious trouble. With the Venomancer being picked up as well, and Tidehunter as well. A couple of big ults there. Venomancer, of course, with his Poison Nova, and then Tidehunter with his Ravage. We'll see what Rubik can steal though. Third pick now for Moscow 5. Now it depends how they're going to run this Rubik, whether it's going to be a solo or if it's going to be a support player. They might decide. They could go either way. Rubik is quite flexible in his role. It looks, I think they probably will want for a relatively aggressive dual lane in the safe lane, just because with Chen there, as long as they've got something like the Shrek or any kind of decent pusher, they can really take advantage of a weak lane and push it down quickly. Getting those 2 to 6 minute towers is incredibly effective and will help the supports really start to get rolling. Get some early wards, get some early upgrades up and running. And the main thing it does also is makes that lane rather dangerous to surround and try and farm, and just removes map control from the enemy team. Makes it harder for them to respond to counter ganks, TP, and that sort of stuff. And Moscow 5, there we go, they pick up the Leshrac, so that gives them a very aggressive top lane if they want it. But still, Leshrac, again, quite versatile. They could quite easily throw him solo mid if they wanted to, and just have him farm as some kind of semi-carry. Second series of bans coming up right now. And yes, Snubbin, Moscow 5, they disbanded, dropped a whole bunch of their players because of the TI2 performance, and some of the issues arose from that, but they immediately then picked up a whole bunch of extra players to refill the lineup. So it wasn't really a disband, it was more just sort of shuffling the deck chairs and anything else. Chaos Knight being banned by Fnatic as well. Interesting decision there. It's definitely still would have been a quite viable lineup, even without the Wisp combo. Chaos Knight with a hero like the Shrek is still incredibly dangerous in a dual lane up top, especially when you've got them backed up by a jungler like Chen. Anti-Mage being banned out by Moscow 5 though. And I remember last night we were talking to Santa, and he was saying that he doesn't think, he still thinks Anti-Mage is quite strong, but he wasn't such a huge fan of Morphling anymore. So the question is, will we see Moscow 5 ban out the Morphling as well? Although to be honest, Morphling could quite easily pick up Morphling and run him in that top lane. Get him plenty of farm up there. Fury on the next ban. Faceless Void also being banned by Fnatic. This is interesting. I have not seen Faceless Void banned since the International 1. Maybe, oh well, obviously we had Na'Vi running their Faceless Void strap in TI2 as well. And then I'm pretty sure he popped up as a ban in Game 4 or Game 5. But as it is, I haven't seen him banned outside of the whole Na'Vi situation since a very long time. He has just not been viewed as a legitimate hero for a very, very long time. So it's kind of interesting to see teams really warm up to him again. Final ban for Fnatic. What will they get rid of right now? I think Moscow 5, they're looking at a kind of a lack. They're looking at a bit of a lack of, their sort of primary farmer in their top lane, and primary farmer in their safe lane, and also their solo mid. I don't think they've got their solo mid selected just yet. I kind of feel like Rubik... Well, actually, Rubik could be the solo mid. They could actually be planning on throwing a suicide solo down there. So that is something that, if Rubik is going to be the mid, then they do lack a suicide solo, because I'm dead sure that we're going to have a strong dual lane in their safe lane, just to take advantage of a weak lane there. I'm also interested to see what Fnatic decide to do with their Batrider. Of course, we've seen Batrider being played by teams like Orange, where they take Winter and have him suicide solo with the Batrider, but other teams we've seen them throw Batrider to solo mid. It's still a very strong hero, and they're very viable in that position as well. So we'll see where they decide to stick that. Also, appreciate the Bounty Hunter ban by Fnatic. They've gotten rid of that because that is something that Moscow 5 are likely to be looking for right now as their Suicide Solo. We've still got some options available though. Of course, we've got Lone Druid if they wanted to. They could actually, Lone Druid could still fit under that top lineup as well. But at the same time, I think something like Windrunner is still completely viable for Moscow 5 to look for. Any kind of mid-game nuking power and just the survivability that she packs. And of course, Shackle Shot is incredibly powerful. Fnatic though decide to pick up the Invoker. This could still, I've seen Invoker played in a lot of ways, and then we go, Moscow 5, they do go with the Lone Druid pick. That could well be Leshrac, Lone Druid, and Chen planning to go on the top lane. Planning to go on the top lane / jungle, Rubik the mid, and maybe one more hero to Suicide Soul. Or they could be planning to run Lone Druid as the Suicide Soul. Lifestealer though being picked up by Fnatic. And we've actually seen how strong that can be. With a bit of negative armor thrown in, he can actually cause a lot of damage. And then you consider that Batrider is going to be getting a blink. It's going to be very easy for Lifestealer to hop inside Batrider. Just let Batrider blink in, disable a target, Lifestealer jumps out, causes damage with his Infest nuke, and then just go to town on a pin down target. This really helps him get around his biggest issue, which is mobility during a team fight and getting kited. So I honestly do enjoy the fact that Lifestealer is getting picked up more. He's definitely been a bit of a fringe pick, and he's now sort of making his own resurgence. And also the fact is he works extremely well against Lone Druid. Negative armor against him, also the fact that Feast really slams Lone Druid, because Lone Druid naturally gets a lot of health. He gains around about 900 to 1,000 health from his synergy as well as his ultimate form, his bear mode. Moscow 5, one last pick though. I was going back to what I was saying though before with Invoker. I've seen him played as a tri-lane farmer, I've seen him play solo mid quite often as well, and he also does Suicide Solo. So again, Fnatic's lineup is pretty flexible, apart from the fact that Lifestealer is most likely going to be in the safe lane. Next, I'm mostly expecting to be backed up by Venomancer and Titan here. They'll probably roam around, focus on pulling, and just making sure Lifestealer gets farm. Invoker likely to go mid, and I think Batrider in this case will probably be the Suicide Solo, just because he's very difficult to run down. You can't really chase after Batrider, because if you do, he just pops Firefly, and you take a lot of damage and become very vulnerable, especially if he's been harassing with Sticky Napalm. Invoker, on the other hand, while he has an escape mechanism, all it takes is Dust or a Sentry Ward, and he's utterly screwed. So I'm very much expecting Batrider to be the solo hero in the top lane for the Radiant.
10 seconds remaining.
And 10 seconds left, and they go for a Juggernaut pick. Okay, this is definitely a very interesting lineup. Likely to see Lone Druid as a Suicide Solo. Juggernaut going to be taking top lane, I believe, and then we'll have him backed up by Chen and Leshrac as well, and Rubik to be the solo mid. Moscow 5 with a very different lineup. Okay, so Lone Druid, I honestly not a huge fan of the Lone Druid in the Suicide Solo, but at the same time, the healing effect from Juggernaut and Chen is going to be very difficult to cut through for Fnatic. At the very least, though, they do have some big early game power ults, such as Poison Nova, and they've got Poison Nova as well as Ravage, which is definitely going to help things out, but I'm not 100% convinced, especially since we're going to have two supports likely to be in the bottom lane for the Radiant side. We're going to have a relatively underleveled Venomancer, a relatively underleveled Tidehunter. Hanny playing Invoker is going to be stuck leveling between the 4 to 6 period mark. He's not going to be able to rotate to help out things at all. Obviously, Lifestealer is not going to be able to rotate much either, so this is going to leave Notail to defend this top lane all by himself. And against Juggernaut, especially if they bring Lone Druid up there early on with the Bear as well, against these heroes, or even just Chen as well as Leshrac, they're not going to be able to defend this top lane. They're going to just put on a ton of early pressure. Chen's going to get a couple of creep, charge down here. We're going to have Diabolical Edict, and they will just go to town on this tower. And for all the good Batrider can do, he's going to struggle to hold on to this top tower likely. At the very least, he does have Firefly, so he can try to kite and just keep the creeps off the tower. But I'll just call out the players while we're waiting. Alright, so for the Radiant side, for Fnatic Raid Call, we have Omar Schneckles playing Venomancer, Notail playing Batrider, Error on the Lifestealer, Trixie playing Tidehunter, and Hanny playing the Invoker. For Moscow 5, on the Dire side, we have Solo playing Chen, Dread on the Leshrac, Sedoi on the Lone Druid, Nexus playing Juggernaut, and Stelliana playing Rubik. And there we go, we're ready to roll now. And this really depends where they're going to say. Okay, so Juggernaut is already heading top. The question is, will they do a 5-man sweep? Sedoi more than likely going to be taking this. And there we go. He's actually loaded up the Bear with a hatchet as well as a stout shot. He's really hoping to do the remote last hitting with the Spirit Bear. Does not want to. Wants to keep it alive as long as possible and just help it out with the last hitting, because with 33 base damage, it's not exactly fantastic by itself at killing those creeps at level 1. Okay, well, not dead sure what was going on there. Never mind. Let's see, Batrider. Okay, might actually. Okay, so what they're doing here, what they can do when they kill all these trees here, that means you can pull the easy camp, and you basically stack and pull the easy camp. You can actually take out a few waves of creep, and if you do this right as well, I believe you can also possibly
30 seconds to
get this pulled as well. But the question is whether or not Batrider's actually going to go. I think he just went there, possibly to knock down the trees, and they may just leave Venomancer as well as Tidehunter to handle both of these pulling areas. And Batrider may just head up to top. Tidehunter, or that said, Tidehunter has spent a lot of money. This actually doesn't look like he's doing much support. Trixie could be the solo top. It'd be a hell of a dangerous lane, but he may actually be going for it. We'll see.
The battle begins.
And there's a pause already. Again. Moscow 5 need to pause for a second. Okay, they're going to come back in 1 second now. What are they doing? Okay, so it looks like Batrider is possibly planning to... Well, he's camping money at the moment. I think he also may have done the career. It looks like Batrider will actually be some kind of support role here, and will mostly focus on pulling. Just going to try and block the creep there for Invoker, who let a couple slip past there. Meanwhile, Tidehunter will be taking the solo top lane. Is this going to be a rather rough lane for him? He's going to be quite vulnerable to getting ganked. I'm fully expecting Chen to come out there at about the 4-minute mark and start trying to take towers. We see the Lone Druid doing the creep jack right now. Just dragging the creep back to where he can farm them safely, and also he's forced... Oh, see, Aero's trying to counter this by doing a similar job, just keeping the creep away from the tower. In fact, he's just going to keep these running around and around in circles. And what is this? What is this indeed? Lone Druid has actually lost a couple of creep who are back all the way over here. We've got... I don't know, we should probably play the Benny Hill theme here at the moment. And the creep, unfortunately for the unfortunately for the Radiant Star, they have finally made their way under the tower. For all the work that Arrow was doing, they do arrive under the tower, and he will have 2 waves knocked out here. Meanwhile, it looks like Sedoy will manage to farm in safety, in peace up there. And the remaining creep did show back down here, although he is actually going to miss out. I'm practically going to miss out on a full wave of creep. This is essentially, this double wave here that Arrow's done, has essentially denied Sedoy half a wave of creep, and may actually deny him another one as well, depending on how close he can get. Just because of double wave of creep, they killed pretty much all those creep on their own. It's Shrek now. Then look, he's just skulking about. He's looking for trouble, seeing if he can take out Trixie. Trixie, being relatively defensive, has actually already popped a whole bunch of regen. Chen's starting to stack up on those creep. Meanwhile, in mid, at the moment, I'm just looking at Rubik. Rubik is 4 and 5 versus Invoker 3 and 2. Invoker is likely to start picking up, though. He's going for Quace and Wex. So as soon as this starts to pick up a little bit, he's going to start hitting really hard with Exort, and can cause a lot of damage. Trixie being chased back up onto the high ground. Looks like Moscow 5, they are looking for the 2-minute rune, which spawns bottom, an illusion rune down there. Time to find nothing. In fact, Venomancer may just beat him to it. Looks like Venomancer will attempt to race to it. Looks like he's going to be able to win this race. Rubik's actually, no, if he comes down here, Rubik's going to dump him up on the high ground. Venomancer may have to go for a deny here. Can Rubik make his way down there? The range is not good enough. Venomancer doesn't manage to get the rune. And now Rubik, who can see him, the Venomous Gal, though, misses. Only hitting the illusions there. And looks like Rubik has decided not to continue fighting. He didn't actually have any uphill vision. He was just relying on the vision being given from Schneckles trying to auto-attack there. A bit more pulling being done by the Radiant side. Looks like Spirit Bearer is trying to jack the creep wave once again. Meanwhile, Trixie skulking around mid, looking for a potential gank. Stalliano is having nothing of that, though. At the same time, though, it is forcing him to stand back from the wave a little bit. And Invoker, because he's left the lane, you see Invoker is nearly a full level ahead of him. It's because he's being forced to stand off, as well as the fact Invoker had a bit of free time while Stalliano went looking for the rune. Fortunately, didn't really do a whole lot for him. He went down there, got that rune, but it's done absolutely nothing for him. He didn't have a bottle to fill up there. He's going to start spamming that Fade Bolt, and Trixie's looking for the opportunity to get in behind him. He's going to get in there. It's only going to be a level 1 gush, though. And unfortunately, Invoker is not close enough to help out. Trixie actually taking a lot more damage for his trouble there. Meanwhile, on the bottom lane, 19 and 7 there for the Life Stealer, compared to 23 and 11 for the Juggernaut. Interesting, just because I think Nakes is not going to like this as much, just because we've got a lot of physical damage in the form of Juggernaut. Rage is not really going to help a whole lot against that. And then, of course, we've got the superior magic stuns and disables it can come through, go right through Rage and pin him down even though he's magic immune. And there we go, Chen and Leshrac looking for a tower now, and it's pretty much a free lane. There's not much that Titan can do to defend this. We see Juggernaut moving down, he's just going to get down here, spam and spin, just cling through his creep wave quickly. Edict though, going to be mostly blocked, and we see the tower not really able to cut through this creep too effectively just because of that healing ward. Trixie trying to do what he can to drag the creep off the tower, actually gets the full wave there, and now it's going to be down to the neutral creep plus a catapult, but they should be able to get this. Edict is up in 2 seconds, they will have this quite easily, but this is what I mean. You've got all of these underfarm supports. Got the Batrider there who's still only level 2, Venomancer who's been pulling, he's level 3, he hasn't really got the firepower to go top. Invoker is still trying to level up, you see he's not ready to start fighting, and they just can keep pushing, there's nothing they can do about it, there's lots of free towers, and right now Moscow 5 could take this aggression and take it to another lane limit. They may not even just sit up here, or they could even keep pushing. They can say, you know, if you're not going to stop us, we'll just start putting pressure on your racks, you're going to have to do something, and this is going to drag a lot of heroes out of position. And again, nothing Trixie can do either about this. It's just too weak at the moment. One issue they're coming into, though, is the fact that they're running out of mana. They really need some Arcane Boots up and running pretty soon. But you see their Juggernaut, actually Leshrac taking that last hit there, and he is only 100 gold away from his own set of Arcane Boots. And once he gets that set up, it's going to be very, very powerful for the Radiant side, for the Dire side. They're going to have a lot of aggression. They can start pumping out on many different lanes. In fact, they could even sweep mid, try and put tons of pressure on that if they just want to keep busting down towers. At the moment, Juggernaut is just going to keep farming at top. Seems like nobody's coming to bother him. We'll keep an eye on No-Tail though. No-Tail though picking up. Oh, he's gone for a big stack, and he will just pop the Firefly in a second, I think. He's just going to stack these up to get all the extra damage there, and now he's going to Firefly and possibly... I don't think he's not even going to bother space. He's going to drag these creep all the way through his bot and keep popping that sticky napalm, spreading his sticky love around. You see those creep just melt in the Firefly. They're not standing up to that at all, and now he's up to level 5 already. This has been quite effective indeed. He's just spent his time stacking. There we go. He's almost level 6 at the 6-minute mark almost. You see that he's actually almost on par with the Solar Mid. That's exactly how fast he's farming right now. Juggernaut though has picked up his Perseverance boots as well. I'm just going to check the GPMs right now. You see Juggernaut sitting on 440 compared to 360 for the lifesteal, and it just comes down to the fact, even though they're neck and neck on CS pretty much, it's just those two towers provide a lot of extra GPM. Also, actually, let's check Batrider as well. Batrider's GPM up to 210, not fantastic, but he's on par pretty much with Chen, the other jungler. And this is what bothers me about this a little bit, just because Lone Druid is going to have very little impact. So far, they're going to be really reliant about the push coming about the 15-20 minute mark. They're going to really want to stacking this bear up, get the demolish happening, because compared to another Suicide Solo like, say, Windrunner, who would just offer a lot more on the team fight value, but with the Juggernaut's healing ward, and with Shen's heal and all these extra backups and heals, they might just decide, you know what, with the bear we can keep it alive, and they're just not going to be able to get rid of this while it pushes down on a tower from range. That's going to be very, very safe.
Methinks you wanted that.
Batrider, though, has decided to pick up Tranquil Boots as his first buy. It's actually becoming a relatively common buy on the Batriders. I'm looking at Lifestealer, has already got his Midas up and running. Nice early Midas. He's going to try and get his farm out of control. Also, for Lifesteal, it is also a very nice item just because the attack speed, it's very cost-effective attack speed, and it's one of the things that Lifestealer lacks and really needs. And we see the dust of the Smoker to see getting popped off there. Stalliana managing to get within range to knock it off, and Batrider giving away the game. Unfortunately, a bit of a waste here. Trixie as well, as Schneckles is looking for trouble, seeing if they can find a fight. Trixie, though, has managed to pick it up to level 4 now. Rubik checks bottom, unable to get towards the rune. In fact, the Dire have got vision up at the moment. The Radiant also having a little bit of vision. Just making sure they can see the high ground with that ward there. You see Trixie looking for trouble. Can he get settled there? Open wounds as well. The teleports are coming in. And they decide to back off wisely. Arrow deciding, you know what, I don't want to tower dive. This could go terribly wrong. As meanwhile, they do get the first blood in mid. Batrider managing to help him pick him off there. Sticky Napalm and Firefly proving to be quite annoying. Also, Cold Staff. I'm going to say this much. Cold Staff in the middle of Firefly, not much fun. Not much fun at all. It looks like the Radiant, they are going to respond with an early tower down in mid they can possibly afford. They've got some stacked out creeps, they've got the Siege Catapult as well, but the counter push here from the Dire side, they're going to try and take the bottom tower. You see Lone Druid is skulking around. I think he's just picked up his boots. He has just picked up his phase boots indeed. There we go, Edict being popped. Looks like they're going to trade for towers, although the Radiant don't quite manage to get the mid there. We got Cold Snap in. Motel going to come in, going to go after Stallion, and once again picks him up though. Going to throw him back down under the tower. Looks like the Flame Break going to knock him away. One last auto attack though. The haste rune from Invoker allowing him to run him down. That said though, Fnatic still trying to take that mid tower, whereas it looks like Moscow 5 are going to push in on the second tier bottom tower. And this is going to become very hard for Era to farm indeed. Era could try and infest one Chen's creep if he wants to, but it looks like Juggernaut's going to port out. I think he's going to top maybe. No, he ports out and he has gone back to mid by the looks of things to defend that. See, Open Wound's going to go down. Rage can defend against the split earth there. There comes Firefly going to come in. No, Batrider not in the mana. Has got no mana for anything. Just comes in a few sticky nade pumps. Edict's being popped. We've already lost Chen. Dread likely to die here as well. Getting gangbang there. 4v1. No chance at all. Juggernaut already having retreated to mid. We've also got Lone Druid farming top as well, but Juggernaut now putting pressure on the mid tower. Wherever the Radiant side go, there's always pressure on another lane. Moscow 5 being very effective in this case. Trixie actually hiding in behind Lone Druid. I think he might be hoping that a port's come top and he can attack him from behind with a slow unexpectedly. When I say port's coming top, I mean walking up top because they don't actually have a tower. I think he's just hoping the counter attack comes up here so he can actually make something happen, because otherwise he's wasting a lot of time. I think he may have just given up now. The pressure is on mid once again. Juggernaut does have his spin up if he needs to get away. He should be okay. Batrider now goes for the slow. Juggernaut just spinning out. See Leshrac throwing down a ward to see the high ground, and it looks like the Radiant, they know it, so you saw the pings immediately happen around here, because they saw what was going on with their own ward. It's one of the things that pro players will often do, just keep an eye on the support, see when wards drop from their inventory. Nakes though, dropping in the jungle, going to keep farming that. He has picked up his power treads at the moment. The Dire side opting to just drop back into the jungle. Chen going to pick up some extra creep. The tower is still pretty weak in the mid. Did they get any pressure on the bottom tower? No, it didn't happen there. We see Batrider just skulking about, looking, see if he can get any hiccups here in a second. Stallion though has popped the Invis rune. He's just going to skulk around there. And Schneckles gets too close. The Rev War goes down, and Stallion would have been revealed there. In fact, he's revealed now for sure. He's dropped in under the tower. They will get the last hit in. Juggernaut going to take that last hit as the Radiant side decide not to actually contest that. Shen does have Hand of God, and he's getting very close to a mech. This is going to be rough for the Radiant side, for Fnatic to deal with. The mech and Hand of God is going to give the Dire side Moscow 5 so much effective health. I just do not know if they can cut through it, even with Ravage, even with Poison over the slow, though, from John Dread, from the Venomancer there, gets hit by a net. The counter-attack is coming from the Dire side. Now Rage, though, they're going after Leshrac. Leshrac retreating, and now Nake's possibly in a spot of trouble. That Bear Pox a root, he will be quite upset. It looks like the Telekinesis throwing him back in the middle of his enemies, using Infesta on Invoker. Invoker using his speed to get out of trouble. He's got, Invoker actually has a Midas as well, unsurprisingly. There's a Ravage, Sunstrike as well. Hand of God, it is not enough there to save him. It looks like we've lost the Rubik. Rubik though buying back the spin there from Juggernaut, being dragged away by the Flaming Lasso. He's already used Omni Slash. Firefly using critical damage, using Flame Break to knock him back. Bear managing to block the Juggernaut, getting Juggernaut killed there. And now Sedoy about to go down as well. Moscow 5 misplaying that fight indeed, getting caught up in a choke point and getting destroyed by Firefly. Solo likely to die now as well. Rubik, I think I've lost. Rubik's already retreating. He bought back for nothing essentially and immediately retreated. And now the push from Fnatic in the mid. Fnatic playing this early game very nicely. The question is, can they hold up in the mid game? As we've seen in the past, that's often where they fall apart. But great play from Fnatic there. They could not have done that any better. And great escape from Nags, kiting them for a bit and then diving inside the Invoker. Extremely well played from him. Also Invoker. Hand of Midas. The Hand of Midas is interesting. He's picked that up. I think they've mostly picked it up on Invoker just because it's going to dick with Chen. It's going to make life miserable for him. And also, when you're doing the Exhort Invoker, the extra attack speed is nice. You can see he's actually hitting really hard because of the Exhort. In fact, he's not even bothered with the level of Wex, so he doesn't even have access to Deafening Blast at the moment. Nake's now looking like he's trying to build his armlet. Of course, an improved armlet, very powerful indeed. And if Era keeps causing shenanigans like that, he's just going to be able to kite them all day with Rage as well as the armlet and then diving inside friendlies. He could even just infest Chen's creep as well. Can always just be quite annoying in that situation. Chen, though, he was close to a mech. He's still 150-ish gold away. Just going to try and pick that up. Unfortunately, if they had the mech during that fight, could have been a different deal. But as it was, they really did, just got too caught up here. Heroes blocking each other, getting stuck in the Firefly, then getting hit with by Flame Break, knocked back into the fire. It was just probably quite frustrating for them to see. Juggernaut now busy building a Battle Fury. Heroes Sunstrike. It's just scouting out the Roshan pit. As it looks like Moscow 5 are looking for an early Roshan. The smoke has been popped by Venoman, so they are looking to see if they can make anything happen. Error now coming down onto the low ground. I think he's visible. He is indeed visible. They know he's there. It looks like Moscow 5 will need to retreat. They don't want to keep banging on Roshan when the enemy is approaching in. Juggernaut, does he have Omni Slash up? They do have their ultimates up and ready to go. Tidehunter is missing Ravage. Oh, never mind. He's got it back right this instant. And he has gone for the Anchor Smash build, so plenty of physical damage there. And the 4-second cool, always nice to help hold off those pushes. You see Stalliana move in just to kill those creep. He has actually picked up Anchor Smash as well. Looks like there is a gank on top. Sedoi unlikely to survive here, unless that bear can proc some roots for him. Flame Break is going to hit him, and also getting hit there by the Cold Snap. There's no escape for Sedoi, who has really just overextended a little bit. No vision on the top rune. Makes it very hard for him to stay alive there. Batrider has picked up a Void Stone. He's had this for a little while now. I'm just wondering what he's going for here. Normally we see the Batriders just rush the hell out of a blink after their rush the hell out of a blink, but in this case Batrider's decided, you know what? I'm just going to get a Void Stone. Maybe he's going for Yules, maybe he's going to try for an early Hex, maybe he's looking for something like a Bloodstone, we'll see. Honestly though, Bloodstone would be a little bit weird on Batrider, especially since he's had a strength buff already. So he's actually one of the Meteor intelligence heroes, and it looks like the Radiant are looking to clean up Roshan at the moment, and of course with Error, they can do that quite easily. I think they're just kiting them in there. The Ravage is up. They know they've got the teamfight potential to take this at the moment. Error now going to be taking a fair bit of damage. Error though actually finishing up his armlet. He may actually just gun for this. Looks like they can do it, although Leshrac going to try and hold them off there. Throws down a Split Earth, stuns Error. Error not really giving a damn. Just going to keep continuing to kill Roshan. No counterattack from the die. Free Roshan pretty much. Lifestealer will pick that up. Rubik now. Rubik has picked up his Arcane Boots. It's looking a little bit grim here for Moscow 5. Looked like they had a great opening strategy, but it is now, you see there is swung right back from the dire side's advantage. Now a 3k advantage in gold to Fnatic. And we'll check the experience as well. Fnatic has actually held the experience advantage for the entire game pretty much. It was a slight point early on where the Dire had it, but Fnatic now 12,000 experience advantage. I think this just comes down to the fact that they were pulling and farming a little bit better, and also the fact they took Roshan, and that last big team fight. I mean, at the moment they're 9-0 on top of kills. Moscow 5 may have had a tower advantage, but Fnatic have steadily been increasing their kills, and we just haven't seen any kind of response from Moscow 5 so far. They really need to win the next team fight, or things are really going to start looking extremely problematic for them. Error going to take out this tower as well. So Moscow 5 are starting to lose towers. Fnatic are on the counter attack here, starting to push in heavily. Next is kind of low. Stalliana getting picked off though by the open wounds. Rage going to prevent him from being able to get hit by telekinesis. Look at the damage there from Error. Just pretty much four-shotting Rubik. He had no hope at all. Not a single hope at all. Another tower going to go down. Fnatic going to push this one in. This is looking like it might possibly be a really early GG. Counter attack though by Moscow 5. Going to push in on mid. Shen with his creep. His mech chasm is done. We don't see any early items like that on the Radiant side at the moment. Their supports are a little bit poorer in terms of gold, but the couple of heroes that count are extremely rich.
Bottom tower is under attack.
You see Dread now going to pop back. They're moving back to defend the racks. We see the bear moving out, going to try and chase them off. Now Solo moving in. They've popped the smoke into seat. Looks like the mass ports are going home. They've decided they just want to go and defend top. Although there it goes. Port gets cancelled on Trixie. The spin as well. Error is here as well, though they may have overextended slightly. Flame Break going to try and knock him back. Not going to happen. Juggernaut will steal a kill there on the Titan, but no great loss. It was definitely an unnecessary death, but it's not really going to turn the tides that much. As we're going to see, it's 10-1. At the very least, Fnatic, or rather, at the very least, Moscow 5 finally posting a kill on the board. Might make them feel a little bit better, who knows. Hand of Midas off cooldown. Looks like Aaron needs to find something to use it on. I think it looks like he might actually even be saving it, or might just not have noticed it's been off cooldown for a while now. Now it looks like he's actually saving it to steal Chen's creep. He's just using the farm gold. Like, there's no way he would have left it off cooldown for this long. I'm pretty sure he is saving that. He's going to use that on Chen's creep. The ports come in to defend bottom though, and at the same time, Moscow 5 just trying to port back to defend mid. They don't want to clash here. I think they're really feeling the hurt from the last couple of team fights. They're going to try and catch up on farm before forcing a big fight.
Twist myself.
Juggernaut, his Battle Fury is done and dusted. Could use... Looks like he's a little bit squishy right now. So should mention, Invoker has had a 4-star for the last couple of battles, and he's also working on his Argonams now as well. Has picked up that point booster. He's trying to drop the cooldown on his Invoke. No tell though. Oh, he went for Yules. He opened up with the Yules. Interesting choice. Makes him quite speedy. The slow has been thrown in there on Seto. Seto in a bit of trouble. Sunstrike him, and unfortunately Flamebreak gonna mess it up. Ravage gets popped, but Firefly doing way too much damage. His slow gets thrown out there by Venomancer. Gonna try and slow down Rubik, but Rubik though pops the Rage, gets away there. As we see the fight continue, though, Chen gets picked up by Fnatic, and now Rubik is actually still quite vulnerable. There are 2 heroes down for the Radiant. You see Chen losing his creep to the Infestations, and we see there it was indeed Hand of Midas being saved to mess with Chen. Hanny also, Hanny doesn't want to do that though. Hanny's just like, you know what, screw you. I'm not going to be a team player, I'm just going to farm. Just going to use his Hand of Midas on any creep that he sees. Gets that money. See another tower getting taken out here. There's not much that Moscow 5 can do to mount a decent defense. In all honesty, this is looking very much over for them. It's going to be a question of how long can they hold on more than anything else. Juggernaut has some nice items, but trying to face off against Juggernaut as well as Invoker at this point in time. It's going to be quite difficult. There we go. We can see the Omni Slash go through. The bear against the Proc-a-Root, but it's just not doing enough damage. He cannot out-DPS that heal at the moment. You see Nexus already being forced to retreat. That Armor is doing so much damage. He's got a Sanjin Yasha on Lifesteal at the moment. Lifestealer though just pounding away there. Tears Juggernaut to pieces, and now Setoi likely to die as well. Setoi is getting taken out. The GG well players have been called, and Fnatic do play a fantastic game. I liked Moscow 5's strategy. It just came down to the fact that they could not cinch those team fights. They went into some messy fights, lost them repeatedly, and then just got overpowered by Lifestealer and Invoker in there, and also the team fight potential. They just didn't have a huge stun in the form of Ravage. Ravage was definitely a big deal. So anyway guys, that was game 1 in a best of 3 series. Of course, Fnatic taking a 1-0 lead now. We will have around about a 5-minute break, and then we'll be moving into game number 2 as soon as possible. So stick around. And also you can follow us on Facebook. We are the Premier League on Facebook. Also follow us on Twitter. My name is TriumphantMan on Twitter. You can check me out there. Our website is thepremierleague.eu. You can check out all the upcoming schedules, team rosters, stuff like that, and also past jobs. And there is also a YouTube channel, the Premier League on YouTube. You can find us there as well. All the VODs will go up there. If you can't find them on this Twitch channel, the VODs will be up there later. And if you want to watch in game, you can also watch in game. We are selling tickets, so if you want to check things out, have full camera control, feel free to do that. Anyway guys, this is TriumphantMan. I'll be back in about 5 minutes with game number 2, Fnatic versus Moscow 5.